Do you guys remember the part in Clueless where Cher felt insecure around Dion and belittled her? Of course you don't, because it didn't happen. And that is one of the more unrealistic parts of the movie. Not this black girl in a hyper-feminine aesthetic, not this black girl running around in a cherry red BMW convertible, and not black wealth. It's this absence of territorial anger on the part of this white girl towards this black girl who would be, in some social settings, encroaching on what is duly Cher's and Cher's alone. Growing up in a majority white, wealthy town in a multi-ethnic family, I've heard two contradicting stories my whole life. One is that if black people wanted good things like what the people in the neighborhood have, they should just work really hard, strategize, and make it theirs. But on the flip side, when they do meet people like my mother or other black people, rarely in those scenarios, there's always this question of who did you trick? Who did you cheat? What did you do to finesse your way in here? And you need to explain it now.
Welcome back to Girl Talk TV. Today's topic is about white women being jealous of black women. Listen, this has been an ongoing situation for generations, and the conversation on TikTok is getting hot.
White women are used to crying to white men and getting their way, and that's not happening lately, and they're spiraling. How do I know this? A fact. Since black women have came over here and white men have lusted after them, white women have done everything in their power to stop and stifle the creativity of a black woman, especially when their husbands started graping black women. They were pissed. Oh, why the kids getting lighter? Why you sleeping with this light lady? Now, white men are saying she gonna be in the house. She's gonna wear the dress like you. White women are even more pissed. White women have gotten black men unalived just by their words because they were upset. Same as black women. White women have gotten the babies of people they own taken away to spite the black woman, not to unalive their husband for graping a woman. No, we're not going to do that. I don't want to see the results of your grape. I don't want to see your light-skinned black babies up in my house. That's their history. That's what they do. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what they did with feminism. And that's what they're doing right now. They're crying. Listen to us. I don't want to hear all this negative talk about white men because I know who raised them. I know who households they grew up in. I know the apple don't fall far from the tree. But you used to get them to be able to do what you want to do, and they ain't doing it no more. They left you behind too. So cry a river somewhere else. It don't work.
A lot of white women do get insecure when white men date outside of the white race. One of the most notable examples of this is Taylor Swift's reaction to Travis Kelce's exes. I know a lot of black creators were talking about this online a couple months ago, but when she has lines like, "I'm not a bad bitch, I'm not a savage," things like that, and directly referencing how she feels insecure that Travis Kelce dated gorgeous black women before her, this is absolutely a thing. And I think it's rooted in like insecurity and jealousy that they feel like they can't compete, that their white boyfriend has a type that isn't white women, but that he's marrying her simply to have white kids because there's a lot of pressure from white families to pass on the white gene. Obviously, this is not something I care about at all, but I know a lot of white women do care if they find out that their boyfriend has either dated men, they freak the fuck out, or has dated women who aren't white. Because I think the assumption at the end of the day is that white people mostly date white people, even though we're in 2026, like, date who you want. But yeah, in response to this, there's absolutely a thing, and there are a lot of examples of white women being very jealous and insecure. Okay, bye.
She's absolutely right, to the point where Taylor Swift wrote a song that was hinting towards Travis' ex-girlfriend, Kayla. I mean, insane.
The biggest reason that I know that white feminism is a real problem is just the perceived threat that so many white women feel from black women just existing. Before I continue, I'm gonna reference myself as attractive. Yes, I know, shocker. I did this before and y'all got on my ass. I don't know what to say, we're gonna keep doing it. But as a black woman, when you like transition from unattractive to being perceived as attractive, you will notice a change in behavior from not only men, but also women, specifically white women. Especially when you don't fit like a certain stereotype that they associate with your race and like what they deem a black woman should act like. It's almost like they don't know how to act with you and they end up, feeling this contempt. They implicitly know that they are the standard. Like they have been socialized to know that. It's been their experience to have men want them. of any race. But in that, they also know that whiteness is sort of blankness. And I actually don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean, it is the standard. It's the norm. It is the opposite of exoticism. So in their male-centered minds, they're thinking, yeah, like in majority of cases, I'm going to get the guy. But when they want a little switch up, a change from their usual, that is when women of color, specifically black women, become a big threat. It's like a lot of them sort of know that a lot of girls look like them. A lot of pretty girls look like them. They can never account for the allure of a deviation from that norm. So when they see an attractive black woman, it's like, okay, I have to see it. How can I fight against this? I don't have the facilities to fight against this. And to compensate for that, I think that's why we see a lot of like white women try to play into the features of women of color. The style, the slick backs, the lip filler, mannerisms, all of it. Like they want to be able to oscillate between all types of attractiveness, become this sort of like maxed out woman who has every single thing a guy could ever want at any time. Because they are so used to being the standard, they cannot accept someone wanting something different. They kind of try to like borrow parts of you to become that so that that won't happen again. It's very interesting and it happens more than you think.
I'm about to tell y'all, when I was dating this white girl, I was 20 years old. I'm 32 now. We were just dating. We wasn't dating. We wasn't committed or nothing like that. We were just dating. I was in Lake Michigan. But as I started to get older, I started to be more aware of things. I remember I started posting more about black issues. I started to become way more attracted to black women. Once I understood how deep colorism ran in our community, I started to stop focusing on so much of black women color, they shade, and I started focusing on their features. And once those barriers went to the side, I started realizing like, yo, black women, I'm more attracted to black women than any other group of women, and it ain't even close. The only person that comes close to it is maybe Latin women, but other than that, she gotta be black. She gotta be black. She gotta either be some type of black, Hispanic, or Blasian, something. She gotta have the curves with her. And so I started to post a lot on social media, and I was talking about these social issues. And this white girl that I used to just mess around with, she started to kind of like take shots at black women towards me. Because I remember one day, and this is what really woke me up. She was like, oh, you don't want to be with me. You just want one of your Afro, brown, black queens. And I was like, is this bitch really trying to shame me for liking black women? Now, mind you, at the time, like me and her, we stopped messing around, but we used to still talk because we was cool. But me, I don't give a fuck who you is. I'm always talk about black people, black problems, all of that. And mind you, I was young as well. I didn't have the same experience that I got now. But I started to drift away from her, and she didn't like it because she wanted to be with me. But I wanted to be with a black woman. I knew long term I wanted to build a legacy with a black woman. And she started to try to shame me for being with black women, for even liking black women, which was fucking bizarre because I'm black. And then on top of that, I realized something. I'm like, oh, you jealous. You jealous. You want to have that black afro. You want that brown skin. You want that thick hair. You jealous. So it always blew my mind when I see black women dress like these European women or wear their hair, because really they want to look like y'all. And y'all don't realize it.
I never understood why white women and white girls had to perform for the black male gaze when it comes down to trying to add a certain race, culture, or ethnicity. And I would cringe at that. Alabama Barker reminds me of that. She doesn't embrace who she is. And another one is Bad Baby. She also is another one that has an identity crisis when it comes down to truly being who you are instead of trying to role play and be a black woman.
So I had a conversation with one of my good redhead friends, right? And love her down. We've been knowing each other for like 10 years. She's like one of my favorite Virgos, right? And I love redheads. But anywho, we were having a conversation and we were talking about jealousy. And she was telling me how she was like, I never had dealt with jealousy with a black woman before. But she said, but from the things that you tell me, it's really loud. I said, yeah, it's very loud. She said, well, white women are different. I said, what do you mean? She said, when white women don't like you, they're really nice. She said, it's hard for you to tell. They are really nice. And I said, oh my God, you are not lying. I said, you are not lying. That is so true. Because I've also dealt with jealousy with women, period. But the jealousy is different between black and white women. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about. And for my white dolls who are Caucasian, feel free to chime in on this. We can talk about it. is safe here. Everybody chime in. I remember being a teller, right? And I was working with this older white lady. And I mean, I had problems with everybody, but I was cool with her or whatever. Whole time, girl, she did not like me. She did not like me. And I'm going to tell you what sent her through the roof. Okay, so one time this guy came in. Okay, let me go back. So when I first started working at the major bank, I really thought everybody was really butchy. Like, everybody looked really butchy to me. And if you don't know what a butchy is, that's basically like a female who's really, really masculine. Or what the elders called back in the day, a bull dagger. I thought everybody was. I'm not lying. There was no form of color. Like, nobody was putting themselves together or nothing. Like, I was the only girl in there that was like super girly, the epitome of divine feminine, whatever like that. So when it came down to this particular white lady, girl, I thought she was butch. She had this Backstreet Boy haircut. Like, I didn't know. And I remember her kept saying how her kids. And girl, the whole time I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, you know, she probably, you know, with her lesbian girlfriend that had kids. You know, I thought it was cute. Girl, whole time this bitch had a whole husband. Didn't even know. So this handsome guy comes in one day. He was good looking. And older white men have a thing for me. They really do. So girl, he comes in and he does a double take. And I was just like, okay. So the white lady, she walks up and she says, "Hey, Rouge, this is my husband." Ooh, shit. Girl, not this your husband, girl. That man that came here and did a double take. And living down south, white men, period, are very bold. But living down south, they're a little bit more bolder. I don't know what he told her at that house. But baby, when she came back to work, she wasn't good with me no more. She wasn't good with me no more after that. No. I have other stories too, but we're going to share it for another video, girl.
The jealousy and envy that white mistresses felt towards enslaved black women was layered and complex. It wasn't about wanting to be in their shoes, but about feeling like their position over black women was threatened by their husband's sexual interest in them. And with Victorian morality casting white women as the symbol of the Madonna and black women as the symbol of the whore, white women could lean into this framing to maintain their position of supremacy. This legacy persists today. Ideas of proper femininity, or what Raewyn Connell calls emphasized femininity, are built around whiteness. As a result, white women, even those who reject emphasized femininity, may feel an automatic entitlement to being admired in white supremacist patriarchal society, and therefore feel threatened by black women's success. It's our responsibility to reflect honestly on when we felt competitive with black women or threatened by black women, or held them to unfair standards. For most of us, these responses are learned, not chosen, and they can be hard to face within ourselves, but it's an important step in creating true dynamics of allyship amongst women. Something Bell Hooks comments on a lot in her book is how when white women align themselves with white supremacy, this pushes black women further towards the benevolent patriarchy being offered to them within their own communities.
And again, I grew up seeing white women, white girls trying to battle and go against black women and black girls when it comes to the male gaze, specifically black guys. For the life of me, I've always said, you're not getting a different black guy. You're still getting the same type of black guy. And he's going to treat you the same exact way how he treats black women. You don't get anything different. Now, that particular topic, which we are going to talk about, is being had as well. Because now the white sisters are no longer wanting to date black men. I've always said this and I've always felt this way. White women do have a way of showing their true colors when it comes to black women. The way you look at black women, the way you smirk at black women, the way you make certain comments, all of that is rooted in jealousy. Tell me what you think down below. Until next time, bye.